All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 4 of the Super Davis Bros podcast. Now, if some of you were on last time, you would know that I left kind of a little bit of a teaser on who we are going to be having on. I said his last name is Wayne and that he drove around in a mobile. And I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to cut straight to the point. I thought we were going to get Bruce Wayne on here. Unfortunately, we had to settle for his cousin, Dylan. So, Dylan Wayne, hello. Welcome.
Hello there.
I was hoping for your cousin, Bruce, but we'll settle for you.
He's a little busy fighting crime.
Yeah, and you have a mom and dad, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
living the good life.
Work through that storyline. All right, cool. Well, Dylan, thank you for coming on. You're our first guest ever for the Super Davies Bros podcast.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. This is fun.
And so, as you on the stream may be seeing right now, we're playing a new game. No more Super Mario World. One, because that game is really hard to play.
Yeah.
And podcast.
Can be.
We're going to need to settle into like a Mario 64 Zelda type game where it's a little bit more of a I don't know exactly what kind of game that's called where you
Like open world kind
of open world. There you go. Open world type game
Yeah.
where if we're caught up talking or we get intense on a topic, we'll be able to
It's also
just kind of let it hang.
not necessarily no more Super Mario World. I mean, we might come back to it. Who knows? Who knows?
Oh, for sure. I think we'll
Yeah.
definitely come back at some point. That game's too awesome.
We
not
better.
to. Okay, well, I'm going to be honest with you. So we have a couple topics today. Every guest that we have on, we're going to let them pick the game that we're playing and the topic that we're going to be discussing. Unless Jordan and I pick someone like specific for a topic that we already have planned out. Other than that, we will definitely be letting our guest do the picking. So.
Okay. Sorry, I missed what you were saying. I was reading this, but just an FYI, I do have chats up on both Twitch and YouTube this time.
Yes.
We only had like
progressing
2 viewers last time on YouTube, but that's okay. And
we had like 40 viewers on Twitch for a little
yeah,
bit there.
we did
last
pretty
week.
good. Thanks,
So
everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, so Dylan, I have never played this game,
Oh, you haven't either?
not once.
Okay,
No.
me too. I'm so glad when Dylan said we were playing this game, you want to play this game? I was like, I've never played this game ever.
Yeah. Well, what's funny though is when we play Super Smash Brothers, Samus is one of my favorite characters
Absolutely.
in Super Smash Bros.
One of my mains as well.
So sick, and I believe an idea. I don't know if he has it yet. I don't think he does, but an idea at some point he wants to get a Samus tattoo.
Absolutely. Add it to the list.
That'll
One of
be
my favorite
awesome.
characters
Well-
and always has been.
For those on the podcast and people that don't know who Samus is, what are we playing?
So Samus is the character I'm playing right now, and she is a space bounty hunter.
Such
and
a
right-
cool title. That's such a
right-
cool title. A space bounty hunter.
I'm not doing so well because I used all my missiles. And
So what
these-
game are we playing?
This is Metroid Fusion. It is the 4th Metroid. Oh man, these guys are kicking my butt. It's the 4th Metroid in release date. It's from 2000. Oop, died already. There you go. It's from
It gets hard.
It does get
It's
hard.
really hard when you're talking. You're trying to play and talk. We're glad we have someone to sympathize.
Right.
And you can pass it to us whenever you feel the need to.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're playing as Samus, and in this one, basically a space station's been overrun with creatures, and they send you to fight in because you're the creatures are all infected with a X parasite, and the X parasite happen to be immune to it, and you can suck it in, and it's like your health and your missiles and stuff. It reloads your ammo. So right now I'm just clearing this space station, and you're following objectives given to you by a computer.
It kind of has like it kind of has a Mega Man vibe for me, like the look of it.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what I said.
similar in the hand is a weapon.
Yeah,
like,
the
it's
hand
a
is a
hand is a
weapon. Even the
cannon.
design,
Just-
the floor
yeah.
layouts, like kind of remind me of Mega Man. We played Mega Man X a lot. I think it's X. I'm pretty sure it's. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I
it's
think
X.
it was Mega Man X. Just so you know, Alicia Bell.
Yeah, Annabelle.
Annabelle. Oh man, I did this last time too. I'm sorry, Annabelle. What's up? She's tuning in while she's cooking dinner.
Nice.
Just want to say hi.
Thanks, Annabelle. What are you cooking? Hurry, quickly type between your
now.
spaghetti.
No.
Awesome.
Don't let it burn though. Dylan, wait. Oh, you said we're fools.
We're fools.
We're just fools.
Okay.
You had time to do that, but not.
But not type what
tell
you're
us
eating.
what you're eating.
She's like, I have time to insult you, but I don't have time to tell you what I'm cooking.
Pasta with chicken. Okay, thank you. Sounds
Pasta with
delicious.
chicken. All right, pasta. Hey, I was right. Pasta. I thought it was spaghetti, but yeah, pasta.
Close enough.
So Dylan, why would you choose this game to
Well, I chose to play this game. It was one of my favorite games growing up. I would say that I am definitely a Game Boy kid growing up, and this was released on the Game Boy Advance. It was just one of my favorite games. Besides this, I'd have to say like Pokemon Red, and that's not easily available to hook up to HDMI.
Huge on the Game Boy.
He
I
played
feel like
games that I
everybody
never
had that.
played. I never
Well, I
got
never
to play
had it,
like
but-
any of the Pokemons.
They're so good. That's probably what I spent most of my time playing. It's a lot more relaxing than this game, but it's still good. So right now I'm just clearing up the atmosphere by clearing out these obstructions, and that's my task right now.
So you picked it. Why did you pick it? I might have tuned out.
Just one of my favorite games
Just your
growing
favorite
up,
game?
and
Yeah, go.
good chance to play it again.
And this is just so you guys know how we're doing this. We have it on the Switch. The Switch has now you can play like a bunch of the Game Boy games on there. NES, Super NES, 64. So that's cool. Well, I have a couple.
So nice.
I did some research on Metroid because I was like, I know nothing about this game. I should learn something. I've never played it, not once. And I honestly didn't know. I know of Samus because of Super Smash Bros. But I didn't even know when I researched Metroid who the protagonist was or anything. So unfortunately, I during my research I was actually on vacation, and I just read through a bunch of stuff rather than taking notes. So some of it might be all over the place. But I wanted to start out with the thing that I thought that was the coolest, and something that I thought.
Want to try it out?
Okay, so Jordan's playing now, so we're probably going to hear a lot of yells because he's probably going to die pretty quick.
I don't even know any controls.
It's like jump and shoot, and then I believe you hold down R1, you can do the missiles.
Figure it out.
Yep, there you go. There's
Figure it
missiles.
out.
Okay.
And that's all I've unlocked right now. Oh, and then down on the D-pad is to roll into a ball.
So I didn't know that Samus was a girl. I had no
Yeah.
idea. Even like playing Samus on Super. I never played Samus on Super Smash Bros. Anyway, but I was like, that's cool. Like, how many lead? There's not a lot of lead, especially like a Banff bounty hunter in space are female. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And she's kind of referred to as Sammy, I guess is kind of her nickname. And I found
Some
out
of the games, yeah.
I found out there was there's something called Wikitroid, and it has a whole huge. It has over like 76,000 articles just on Metroid, and
That's
backstory and stuff like that. And so, yeah, found out that she's a bounty hunter, right, in space. She used to be part of some type of regime, and like prior to being a bounty hunter, she basically like worked for like the government kind of thing. Is like
Yeah, the
she's in
Federation.
Federation. Yeah. Okay.
The missiles. You gotta use the missiles on these guys.
Oh.
And then I also found out that kind of timely, we talked about alien movies last week on our podcast, and there's a lot of calls to Alien in this. The the villains look like aliens.
Space Pirates and Ridley,
Yeah, the Space Pirates.
Dope.
And they also, I guess, and you can correct me, Dylan, you're going to know more about this game than me, I'm sure. But I guess one of the villains' name is Ridley.
Yeah. And Ridley's in Smash Brothers now, too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Ridley, I think that they were saying that was a call to Ridley Scott because of the
I think so,
films. Yeah. So that's kind of cool that movie was such a big deal that it even kind of spun off a video game. She kind of resembles what's her name in Aliens?
Ripley?
Yeah.
Ripley!
Yeah. She kind of represents her, and she was a cool female lead. But she was a female before people I guess were surprised by like Game 2 when Nintendo announced like, oh, she's a girl.
I think they put it in the...
Well, right there, it just showed she's a girl. When she dies,
yeah, her suit blows
her
up
suit comes off.
And it shows Zero Suit Samus. I think in the booklet for the NES,
like the manual.
Metroid, the manual, if you read through that, it tells you she's a she, and it's pretty cool that they put that in there.
Yeah, and I wonder how many people read through manual. That we were talking about that when we did Super Mario World, when we did a deep dive into Super Mario World. Like we read from the manual, the original manual. We're like, we never read from the manual. We just dove right in.
Right, I miss the manuals. They were always.
It's cool
nice
that a
to
lot
have.
of games actually had a lot of like all have kind of stories and backgrounds. Like I'm sure a lot of like comic book nerds know this stuff, and I wish I was more into comic books. I feel like I don't remember our parents ever like buying us comics.
No, they didn't think we could read.
So, we couldn't.
They were right.
But I mean, I'm sure we would have been pretty into it if we knew each one of these, but we were too stoked to just get it on the screen and roll with it. So
Yeah, I agree. You just, especially when a lot of these games, especially these early games, are so simple. It's just like move side screen, shoot whatever's in your way, and then kill the boss, and do that 8 times, and you beat the game. But Nintendo, I think Nintendo's such a cool company where they really care about their characters, and they really they're really protective of the licenses for that because of that. But they really care about their characters and the storyline and what goes into it, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with a Nintendo game. They're always well done.
I agree.
Especially for like how basic it is, really. Like you said, you make it through the side to side map, a little up and down, not a ton, jumping, over little obstacles and killing little monsters, and then you kill the boss. And that's what you consistently do in a lot of the Nintendo games, and they're still amazing. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay, so there was one console that this game, I'm sure there's more, but out of the main consoles that we've been playing, the NES, the SNES, the 64, we talked about the GameCube, Wii, and Switch. Do you guys want to guess what console there was? No, you probably know this one, Dylan, but what console did not have a Metroid game?
That would unfortunately be the N64.
Yeah, and I think that's another big reason we didn't.
I did not
play
know that either.
Yeah, they skipped the N64.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer, but
I couldn't find a reason why, but they did skip it.
yeah, I'm not sure if they had a reason. They just
Because this one, so they had one on Super Nintendo, I guess, and
Yes,
maybe that
which
one
was
just
one of their
was
best
gold,
selling.
so-
Was the Super Nintendo one, and then I think also the Game Boy ones were just doing so well that there wasn't any. Also, I mean, 64 is when they went to, the 360 spaces, right? The 3D spaces, which was a difficult task to take on, and you got to think Nintendo just knocked it out of the park with Mario. They might have been. This is just me, theorizing, but like they spent so much time and so much manpower to make sure Super Mario 64 was just awesome that you could see how they might be a little hesitant to put out Metroid if they didn't think it was going to be as successful or it wasn't going to work good. Because one of the biggest issues you run into with the 64, other than like the big games that everyone likes, the Zeldas, the GoldenEyes, Marios, right, Star Fox, a lot of the games on the 64 had just really bad camera angles. They struggled in that 3D space.
I mean, would that be where they came out with the joystick too?
That was the first introduction of the joystick. There was one other console that had a joystick prior. I can't remember the name of it, but
Like a thumb joystick.
yeah, that was the first like big console. But then
So I wonder
PlayStation
if
came
that
out.
had a big
PlayStation
play
came
in
out
it.
right after with the double. They had two joysticks.
The DualShock.
The dual,
Yeah.
DualShock. Thank you. Came out with that after.
Dylan knows everything.
Not everything.
Oh, can we just, before we dive into best 90s games, can we just talk for a minute about how awesome Dylan's room is?
Oh,
His house.
I mean,
His house.
I like
Yeah.
it.
it's pretty sick.
So Dylan, why don't you tell the folks just a couple of your favorite pieces of favorite items that you have in your house? What are some of your favorite consoles that you have? Maybe some of the cool stuff that you have
Yeah,
in your
absolutely.
nerd house. Tell us your top like 5 favorite things that you own.
Well, I own this game in its original box, thanks to a very nice coworker who gave it to me.
Call him out. Call him out.
Yeah. And a boss battle. JD's handling this one.
So that means we're gonna lose our first boss battle.
right.
No way, no man.
So yeah, this game is one of them. In its original box, really nice.
How much is
I
that?
love
Do you know how much that runs for?
I think it's a couple $100, but I'm not sure. I don't really keep a tab on them. I don't know. I have a lot of stuff. I used to I had an old schedule that was 7 days on, 7 days off. And my brother had the same, and we used to spend a lot of time going to DIs and Savers and buying old stuff.
I did die.
One of my favorite things from that was probably like my Sega Saturn, because I didn't even know a Sega Saturn existed until I bought one.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. I think it was just before the Dreamcast, and so it was a little different. That's pretty cool. I have my Pikachu N64. I really like that one where it has Pikachu on top of the N64. I have all my Pokemon games from growing up. With my mom wrote my name on the back of them, and I still have every single one of those.
That's so cool
That's
that you
super
can
cool.
keep those. Like
Right.
how nostalgic, you know? Like you can just like think back, and it brings back so many memories for you, probably.
Yeah,
they're-
our mom like threw those out as soon as we moved out. She's like, she gave away our N64. We were livid.
that's heartbreaking.
Which, by the way,
We're in the process of
we're in the
getting it back.
process of getting it back.
Awesome. That's good to hear. This guy also takes missiles.
Okay, so what's your favorite helmet? You got some cool
I got
Star
a
Wars
bunch
helmets.
of Star Wars helmets. Yeah. Probably the Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet I just got. I really like that one. I'm big into Clone Wars.
I
So
think-
that's a good one.
I don't think Dylan's doing a good job at painting how awesome a picture his basement is. Dylan has like every single console. We just went over for Jordan's birthday a few months back, and we had the 64 up on one side, the Switch up on the other. He has like a mantle that has just so many different like Legos, Star Wars Legos. He has like every helmet, different Star Wars
It's
lightsabers.
any kid's freaking fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm a
like,
grown
basement.
child.
It's so
It's
cool.
so
like,
good.
Shout out to Danny
Absolutely.
For putting up with you.
putting up with you, allowing the
Allowing.
awesomeness to happen. Danny, you're awesome.
She is.
We're trying to
Oh,
get
man.
her on here.
Yeah,
We'll see
Danny,
if that-
come on.
She'll
Sure.
come on here and school you guys in Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, dude, she's so good at Mario
so
Kart.
good. It's amazing.
Well, it's such an awesome room. You got so much cool stuff. What was the odd game that we played? The Toy Story. How many 64 games do you got?
I don't have I don't know. I maybe have like 100, but I stopped collecting N64 games a little bit ago because my brother, who also collects, he has every single N64 game that was released
No way.
in North America.
That's
And
so
so
cool.
I stopped collecting because I can always just ask to borrow them.
That is
So
cool.
it works out really well. Nice. Good work, JD. You got Charge
I
Beam.
beat him. I beat the boss.
Okay, so let's dive into it. So Dylan's topic, the one that he wanted to talk about, he wanted to discuss the best games of the 90s. And so we actually put a poll up. Thank you guys to everybody who voted. It was
We got
absolutely
tons of votes.
Yeah,
Tons of votes on
I
this
can't believe
poll.
how many votes, and they're still coming in, still counting. So we have right now we have 67 votes so far, and that being said, I don't know when we cut off these polls because last week we did the Alien poll for the best Alien movie, and
Starship Troopers.
a few.
Yeah. Dylan added Starship Troopers to
Oh, and he
that, which
voted?
is
Okay.
awesome.
So I think maybe people were upset that I didn't think Predator was a good movie.
Mm.
Because Aliens was originally the leader, and we had about about 30 votes at that time. We had 8 more votes since then, and now Predator is the leader. So Predator has jumped into first place with Aliens in second place.
I could agree with that. I love that movie, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Love it.
So I don't know if we count that or we don't, but Aliens, when the podcast dropped, was the number one, and now Predator is number one. So this week's poll, we had over 67 votes, and I just threw up a ton. I just threw up a ton of different games that I thought were really cool in the 90s, and then people could add in. I did as many as I could mention. So I'm just going to list a few here. I'm going to list the ones that were on the poll, and we'll go over the poll, and maybe that'll lead into kind of our favorite games, and we'll see which one won. So Banjo-Kazooie didn't get any votes, which I was surprised. I thought I'd get a couple votes. We didn't play that much as kids, but
I didn't play it much, so.
So Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong Country, Doom, Earthworm Jim, F-Zero, GoldenEye, Mario Kart, Mario Party, Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, Parasite Eve, Pokemon, Resident Evil, Sonic the Hedgehog, Star Fox 64, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3, Super Mario World, Super Smash Bros., Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, Turok, Twisted Metal, Warcraft, Metroid, Kirby, and Legends of Zelda. So Legends of Zelda, Kirby, and Metroid were all added. Yeah. So a few added. Okay, so let's take a guess. Who do you think got number one?
I'd like to say GoldenEye, but probably not.
It's a tie. Number one's a tie.
Mario 64.
Mario 64 is not
No.
number one. GoldenEye is one of the ties. So good job, Dylan. GoldenEye tied with
Super Mario World. Come on.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater
Dang it.
3.
Ooh, that's a good one. That is a
It's
good
just
one.
an awesome game.
Yeah, that is
So-
so good.
Let's just go over a couple of the other ones that were pretty high up there. Pokemon was really high. Donkey Kong Country was up there. Mario Kart was up there. Super Mario 64. So those were kind of the ones competing for the number one spot. And then you had a couple of... You actually had a couple votes for F-Zero. I was surprised. Didn't think a lot of people played that. Mortal Kombat had a few votes. NFL Blitz had a few votes. NBA
Blitz
Jam.
is a good one. I grew
Blitz
up playing
was
that.
Fun. Matt always kicked my butt at it, so
Hit
we
that.
played it because I don't know why.
You
But we
know,
had fun.
thinking back, I don't know if were there games that I didn't kick your butt at.
Ooh.
Dang.
Shots fired.
Super Smash Bros, Super Mario World got a few votes. Metroid got a couple votes, and Legends of Zelda got a couple votes.
Nice.
Now, was Legends of Zelda released in the 90s?
I
Ocarina of
believe it
Time?
was in
Yeah, probably. How come I missed
96, 97.
that? I'm surprised I didn't have that on
I
there.
thought it was released closer to the release of the N64, but I'm not positive.
All right, so here's the single vote ones. Kirby got a vote. Twisted Metal, Turok, Sonic the Hedgehog barely got one vote at the end there. That's it. And then the ones that did not get votes: Banjo-Kazooie, Doom, Earthworm Jim. That was a dope game.
I loved that game. I don't know why I didn't just throw my vote into it as well. I did vote on a couple, but
Yeah, that game was
didn't-
awesome.
That game was dope, but I don't remember playing it a ton.
Well, we
'Cause
just
didn't-
rented that game.
Yeah, we didn't own
It
it.
was a
Yep.
rent game. Earthworm Jim didn't get any votes. Parasite Eve didn't get any votes. I've never played that.
I've never played that one
Okay.
either.
I actually didn't even really know that was a video game until looking up like popular video games, and I just know the song from that band. Oh gosh, now that I'm on the podcast, I can't think of the band. It'll come to me. I'll come back.
Real quick, what's up, Carson? Thanks for joining. And Gina is on YouTube. Gina Love. And then Annabelle was saying she's also in the process of getting her GameCube games back.
Oh,
Just like
cool.
her N64,
She was talking. So Annabelle, I work with Annabelle.
She had so many Sonic games, she said, which Sonic was sick. I
Wait,
love
Sonic wasn't on the GameCube though.
Wasn't on the GameCube?
I think they had some.
Yeah,
on
they
the
had
GameCube.
Really?
Sonic. Yeah,
It's
I
not-
remember
that's not
Sonic primarily from Sega.
Sega.
Yeah, but I'm not
Oh, I
100%
didn't know.
sure on
I
that.
didn't know that.
But I,
I
bet I
I
wouldn't
mean,
be
she didn't
surprised.
relate them as one, so maybe she just had a lot of Sonic games, not necessarily only on the GameCube.
I know.
But she said yes, they were.
Oh, they were. Okay, cool.
I believe you.
Sorry.
Sorry. Back down. Okay, Annabelle knows best. You heard it here first. Fact. So if you want to know facts from the 90s.
Oh,
Who
Johnny
got you?
said it's Mario Sonic Olympics.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think possibly. Yeah, I believe that. I know
Cool.
that was on the Wii
Um,
as well.
Annabelle, speaking of like best games, this isn't a 90s game, but she was telling me the best Mario Kart game is the Mario Kart off the GameCube.
Double Dash.
Yeah, Double Dash.
It is so fun.
Yeah.
I
It's-
never played that.
It's really cool because you can have two players on one cart, and you can switch off
Oh,
who
yeah.
drives, and then the person on the back gets to use the power ups. They get to, I think they actually get a swat at the other or punch
Oh,
the
that's
other carts
Do
cool.
you
too.
think Nintendo ever like add that on the next Mario Kart? They gotta do something, right? Like,
I hope so because it's really underrated. It's so fun.
I mean,
I hear it's like-
Nintendo's got, or well, on the Switch, Dylan had it for a bit. I think he gave it to his brother. Has the live Mario Kart remote control cars that drive through your kitchen, and it turns it into like augmented reality kind of situation. You know, like
That's
it uses
cool.
your
Yeah.
kitchen as
does
the
it work
course.
well? Have you done it?
Yeah, it works well as long as you have like a hardwood floor and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, me and my brother both have it, and I think you can put up to 4 little remote control cars
That's so cool.
and drive them around. But it's really cool because you can see just through the camera of the car, and
Oh,
you
that's cool.
set up like cardboard track markers so you can do laps and stuff and actually do a race, and it has like virtual coins and
No
it's,
way.
it's really cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's way cool. That's way cool.
I'd like to point out that this may be best 90s games. It may hit games that are made in other time frames and just deal with it because we're 90s kids, except for this old part here.
89.
Same thing.
The year of
we
Swift.
would have to say it's like
The year of the
90
greatest.
best of 90s games because we played it as 90s kids. Not necessarily they were all
The
made
best.
in the 90s.
We're all millennials, right?
I mean, the game we're
So
playing
I
right
was
now is
very
2002.
Yeah,
I
right?
think we should be very specific. It has to be 90s. We'll get into 2000 games at a later podcast, but it's got to be 90s.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
that's my
we just
vote.
spit facts and they are what they are when we put them on.
All right. Okay, so I think that was it. The only other one that didn't get a vote was Warcraft. So Warcraft was the one that did not get a vote. So Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 surprisingly didn't come out in the 90s because I would argue that that one was a little bit better than Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1. But couldn't put that on there because
Okay.
rules. I'm the oldest child. Follow the rules, Jordan.
Whatever.
All right.
Rules are for losers.
So let's talk best games. Best games of the 90s. I've got a few that I definitely want to hit. Why don't you go first, Jordan? Why don't you throw out a couple of your favorite games of the 90s?
Oh man, of course, Super Mario World. We've obviously showed that we love that one. GoldenEye was sweet. Also, this may not be 90s, but it was Tomorrow Never Dies. Is that one? No,
It didn't come out in the 90s.
Die
The
Another
second-
Day. Is
this-
that it?
The
James Bond-
I
the
think
other
it's
James
Die
Bond
Another
one.
Day.
Is it Die Another Day?
I can picture
It's
it.
in blue. It was a
N64 blue cartridge?
Yeah,
Yep.
cartridge.
Tomorrow
Is
Never
that- I
Dies,
don't know
think.
if that one's 90s, but
It wasn't 90s. I checked.
okay, then scratch that. N64, sorry, Mario 64 was sweet, and then I like Tony Hawk too.
Tony Hawk was dope.
But
You know,
Tony
we
Hawk was
played
dope.
Tony Hawk though mostly on the PlayStation. If you played it on the
Mhm.
64, I remember you didn't get the full tracks to the songs because the console just couldn't handle it. And multiplayer, you didn't get songs. You didn't get any. But yeah, that was great. I think we do need to talk GoldenEye for a bit, because I think without a doubt, any millennial that had a console, or a friend that had a console, a 64 console, played GoldenEye.
Oh, no doubt.
And those
No
parties
doubt,
were
yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 4 players getting to shoot each other, like
License to Kill.
License to
one shot.
Kill.
License to Kill, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it, right?
So good.
Right.
And
so
who
good.
who can you not play?
Odd Job.
Odd Job. You can't
It's
be
too
Odd Job,
short.
right? It's too
Yeah,
short.
right.
Everybody can't be Odd
his,
Job.
his hitbox is lower than everyone else's.
You know?
Everybody's all
Like
mad.
anyone that's played GoldenEye is like, no Odd Job, and then License to Kill. That's how we're playing.
Yeah. So we did my birthday party at Dylan's this last year, and we played it, and we all did surprisingly well.
It holds up pretty well.
Absolutely.
But I do remember, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, we were doing the same thing at Dylan's house, and we turned it on, and I don't know if it's the Switch that brought us back, or just playing a couple older video games on the Switch, or what. I remember it being way harder when we played it a few years ago.
No, it's
I
Like
can
we were
see
like
that.
looking up, like it's like when you hand the controller to your dad, like, Dad, come play this game with us, and he just
Yeah.
can't handle it at all. He's like, oh, what? Where am I? You're
it's like
just
Jim from The Office in that episode where he's like playing Call of Duty and he's jumping up in the corner. You know?
I haven't seen that episode.
Oh gosh.
I know I haven't seen
Call
all of The
yourself a
Office. I'm
millennial.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Ugh.
Don't be. I haven't either.
Oh my! I can't even be in this podcast the rest of the time.
Carson just said he used to get his dad on there and kill him with the golden gun. We did the same thing.
Okay, yeah,
Carson.
we played
we were
Golden
like,
Gun, and everybody
on,
was
Dad.
trying to figure out. Remember, everybody's like, "Where is the Golden Gun?" Because you have to find it first.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like instantly we all figured it out, and no one would say it, and we're all booking it upstairs to the bathroom in that facility. And then you got there
Not
first, you're
that
like,
it's in the bathroom.
No screen hacking. No
It's a-
screen hacking.
No, yeah.
cardboard cutouts on the
Right.
screen, and us standing in each, like,
Oh,
staring
man.
at just our.
Did you ever do that growing up? I never did that, but I've heard of
remember
people doing
attempting
car-
it once. Like,
I know we
but-
tried a blanket one time. You remember we tried to like do a
Mhm.
blanket so that we'd split the screen and you couldn't see.
but you could always kind of tell because of like the colors on the edge of the screen. You could like tell which areas they were in.
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, GoldenEye's awesome. So
GoldenEye's so
I
good.
definitely think that's a good one. And then you mentioned Tony
Ooh.
Hawk, or what was the other?
Tony Hawk was great. I guess I'd have to say Tony Hawk 2 was more of a bigger one for
Well,
me.
you
but that's
could
not
start
part of it.
manualing in Tony Hawk too. That was a game changer.
I think the other top for me would be Star Fox.
Yeah,
I
it's alright as
love
well.
Star Fox. That was sweet. And when we played that at Dylan's house, I just have to say I kicked freaking butt.
Well,
I
when
was
I
good
wasn't
at it.
playing, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
That's
he
true.
wouldn't blame me. He was scared. Scared.
Okay, Dylan, what about you? What's a couple of best games of the '90s?
I gotta put Blitz up there.
Yeah,
Played
Blitz
a
was
ton of
dope.
Blitz.
Did you play
growing
in the
up.
arcade or did you have it on 64?
Mostly on the N64.
Okay.
Gotta give a shout out to my first game, Pokemon Red.
Pokemon
played that
Red, and that's
just a
Game Boy,
ton.
right? Pokemon Red was just on Game Boy.
Yep, Game Boy. It was black and white. Yeah, and then it had Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, and then Pokemon Yellow came out a bit later. And those ones are all really, really good.
You know, I wish I got into Pokemon a little bit more. I feel like I kind of missed out on Pokemon. I got upset one time because I got screwed over from a trade in a card. He got my Bulbasaur and I got some stupid card.
Man, that's exactly what happened to me with Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna call him out. Dylan or
Wow.
Dustin Fratto. Dustin Fratto.
Call me out.
No, Dylan. It was Dylan. No, I didn't know Dylan then. But Dustin Fratto traded me my Mewtwo. He was like, "Oh, that's not even a good card. You should just trade it for like." There was a couple cards I wanted, and I only knew the cards because of what they looked like. I didn't know anything about them, how good they were, how whatever in the actual game. But I loved my Mewtwo, and finally he like handed me over basically like 5 cards, but they were all worthless essentially, and I got rid of my Mewtwo. After that, I remember I didn't even take him to school like all the other kids did. I was just like, my life sucks now.
Salty about
It's
it.
all over.
I played a fair amount of Pokemon Snap, so
That's a good
I
one.
like
yeah, we
that
played
one.
a ton of that, but
we
That's
kept
such a
renting
random
that
game.
Yeah, I don't know why we'd always rent that game.
So like boring too, really.
It is
Nothing-
kind of a boring game.
Nothing wrong with a relaxing game.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Definitely takes the edge
It's
off.
better to say that anyways. It's a relaxing game, not so much a boring game, but you kind of know where all of them are going to poke up. I'd like to play that one again to see how it is nowadays.
What else, Dylan?
We already talked about 007. That's a good one. 90s games. I'm just losing it right now. Metroid. Samus Returns 2 for the Game Boy. That was a good one. You always have. I don't think Tetris came out for the Game Boy in the 90s, but I played a lot of that.
Oh, but everybody had it on the Game
Yeah.
Boy. In the
I think
90s.
it
I'd
came
say it
with
still
the Game
counts
Boy.
as a 90s game, though, because it was out on, the Game Boy Advanced and
Well, it was out
standard
on the
Game Boys,
regular
which
Game
were
Boy. Yeah.
in the 90s. So
I think it's
kinda-
like
it
no
breaches it.
spoilers because we'll probably do an episode on it. But I'm pretty sure that's the highest grossing game of all time. If not, it definitely held the title for a long time.
I mean,
think
it
for a
still
long
holds
time.
up as a game too. Like,
Yeah.
everybody's played Tetris. Hey, just real quick, anybody who's watching, you should send in what your top
your top
90s games are too, because
Yeah,
I'll throw them out there if I see them come in.
And you got to
So-
go with Mario Kart.
Mario Kart. I
On
still
both-
to
on
this
both
day
the
think
Super
that's the
Nintendo.
greatest party game of all time. Mario Kart. There's
That and Mario Party itself.
I
didn't
think
play
Mario
it
Party.
enough.
Mario Party's trash, dude.
No,
Like
hold
it's
up.
trash.
Matt is mainly referring to that one on the Switch, not before the one that they just made.
No, I'm referring to all of them. They're all
Really?
trash. The they're so rigged. They have no rubber band. Like okay, on Mario Kart. Okay, let's just hear me out. Okay, Mario Kart. You're in last place. Has a rubber band effect, right? It starts just giving you everything that you can to like shoot. Mario Kart has no structure. It's like playing Monopoly with someone who knows money. Like you don't know it. If you don't know it, that person that knows money is just gonna destroy you. It's so random. There's no skill involved at all, except the mini games, which really don't bring you much. You can just like all of a sudden land on a spot and like, hey, here's a star. You get a star just for having a star, just for
It
landing.
sounds like
He's bitter
someone's been.
because I beat him at it.
It
'Cause
sounds
it
like
has
someone's been.
It's all luck.
He's been
There's no
burned.
skill.
He's been burned by those extra stars after the game.
Any game that
Come on.
maybe I won
People in
at,
the
he'd be
chat.
like, this
Mario
is
Party's
awful.
trash. It's trash.
Absolutely
It's
not.
trash.
Oh man, the newest one is good.
I played it. Trash.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, on the Switch.
No, I don't have the newest one.
Well, even if it's the newest one, it took them like 10 games. That even say it's awesome. It took
No,
them
I
10
remember the
games
Wii
to get
ones
to
were
the good
dope
one.
too.
I love the ones on the N64. I remember
It's
burning
infuriating.
my
I do too.
hand with the joystick going
You don't remember
around.
playing it with Harry?
Yeah, I do, and I hated
I
it.
thought we had fun doing it.
We did have fun. That's when they came out with those N64 gloves, Dylan, because like people were burning their palms.
That power glove.
They got rid of those games on the mini games because there were like lawsuits and stuff involved. So they pulled. So if you want
See-
to play a game with the joystick that
See, if our
spins in a
parents
circle,
would have bought us Mario Party, we would have been rich now. Because we could have had one of those
Could
lawsuits.
have had that Nintendo.
no. So if you want, there's so many lawsuits. What Nintendo did is if you wrote in, they would send you a Nintendo glove thing. That was they would give you the Nintendo 64
Hold on,
glove.
Dylan?
So sorry.
Do you have that Nintendo glove?
Absolutely. I don't know.
Do you
I have
really?
I have a different one now.
That's sick.
I have that power glove that's a third party that you tried out, and it.
That is so hard.
It's just,
Matt, did you see that? I think he
No.
pulled it out after you left that night. It's Yeah, a glove N64 controller.
I've seen that. I've seen
And
that.
It is wild. I was trying to play Toy Story with it, and it was so hard. You twist your wrist up, and that's how you run forward. I don't know for sure, guys, so sorry, but you twist your wrist to the side, and that's how you turn. You got it's just got weird movements with your hands. I mean, the technology in it for that time frame is unreal.
Ooh, I didn't realize my health was so low.
Oh yeah, I guess you would. Did the first one take off the uniform like that and show Samus in like a bikini? The first ever Metroid did that too?
I don't think so.
Okay, so that makes sense why they were like, it's a dude.
Oh man, I gotta do all that again.
They had to sexualize it, I guess. Once they're like, no, it's a chick.
Nah.
Okay, cool. I had a couple that I've been dying to mention that I think are hands down. Well, Mario 64, I think that's one of the greatest games. You mentioned this one, Dylan, but Mario 64, I think, honestly, that's the greatest game ever invented, in my opinion. I think that game is so good. So awesome.
I mean, when it came out on our phones, I remember you downloaded it and played it on your phone constantly because we didn't have our N64, so not that we owned it on there anyways.
Yeah. I love that one. I just think the mechanics in that one. And have you seen people do the speed throughs of that game? It's incredible how good people have gotten at that game.
The speed runs.
Speed runs? Is that what they're called?
I haven't.
Yeah, they're just.
I should watch some of those just to see. You were telling me about the Super Mario World speed runs, and those were pretty. Those were pretty cool. We watched a quick clip of one. I was like, "Whoa, there's so much to these maps," because it kind of some of them show like the map as a whole, too, and you don't realize like how big the maps are.
Yeah,
we kind of talked about that, so on our first podcast.
The other one I thought was just so awesome that I don't think gets enough cred is Donkey Kong Country.
That one's really good too.
Yeah,
I've been enjoying it on the Virtual Console now that it's on the Switch.
And I think that one's pretty hard too. At least I never got even close to beating it when I was a kid, and I have such a fond memory of that one because of the soundtrack. I think the music in that is so cool, and that was obviously it wasn't 3D graphics, but that was the first time Rare took over a Nintendo game, and the way they were able to kind of almost make a 3D looking 2D scroller. The graphics in that are just really, really good. They hold up, and the characters almost look 3D in that one, which is still on the Super Nintendo. So I thought that one was really good.
What about you?
Those are my two big ones. Was Donkey Kong Country and Super Mario 64. I think were definitely the best. I love Star Fox, and I also loved Mario Kart. I hated Mario Party, but I play it and I'll still play it. Even we'll play it with like your girls sometimes. I'll just play the mini game.
Yeah, they like
the mini games are all fun. I just think
Absolutely.
the actual map layout and how you win. There's no strategy. It's just
Yeah,
chaos.
no, not at all.
It's just chaos.
Not at all.
But
which can be any board game, just game of chance, you know.
I would argue that's not true.
Any dice game, you don't know what you're gonna land on.
There's still strategy, like on how you can get places, what cards you play, and stuff like that. Like, Sorry is not a good example of that, but there's strategy in board games.
Oh yeah, there is, but you don't think
there's no strategy in that game. No strategy.
I mean, not that I actually had a strategy in that game or anything.
I'll tell you what, we're gonna go again and we're gonna play that game together. We'll all play that game, and then you come up with you're gonna see when you play it again. Like there's no strategy.
I mean, it makes sense.
It's just all luck.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even calculate.
Except for the mini games.
Say you're like, I have like 7
except
stars.
for the mini games. I agree with that.
Yeah, the mini games are cool, but they don't equate to much of a difference with regard to like winning the actual game.
Yeah, it can.
Sometimes it depends. Sometimes they're like, oh yeah, you won this mini game, you get a star. Or, oh, you won this mini game, you get this many coins. But coins don't mean anything. Sometimes if you get 100, you can get a star. You can buy a star if you want, or you can buy to move to this part of the map, or hopefully there'll be a star. But we're not going to tell you where they are. Okay, I'm off. I'm done on my tangent.
Are you doing okay? Are you doing okay?
No, I'm frustrated.
Okay, it's okay. Take some time. Take some time.
Some breathers.
Namaste.
Oh, yes, a save room.
Right.
Okay, so some of the other high ones that are on here, maybe we should talk about is let's see, Zelda.
Oh man, Dylan, you played quite a bit of Zelda, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have only played the one on the Switch, Breath of the
Breath
Wild.
of the Wild.
Yep. I always
That's
want to
it.
say Ocarina of Time, but it's Breath of the Wild. I don't know why. But I didn't play any more. And I wish I would have, but never got the opportunities to.
We didn't
But
have
Breath
it.
of the Wild is so sick. I wish I had more time to be able to play it more thoroughly. And I hear the new one is amazing.
Is
we
it
are
out
planning
already?
on.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's and it's
Do you have
really
it, Dylan?
good.
Did you
I
get
do.
it?
Yeah, I've been playing it for.
We actually have
Like
a guest
40
that's
hours
planning
in.
on playing the new one.
Yeah, we're planning that
booked
game.
in
We're gonna do a
August.
Zelda dedicated podcast day with a future guest. And we are gonna he's gonna bring that game, so we're gonna play it for the first time. But
That'll be awesome. It's really fun. Big open world game.
Breath of the Wild was the first one I played too. Jordan actually was like, "Dude, you got to play this game." I know we didn't play it enough when we were We never really played it when we were kids. And I hurt my knee. I had surgery on my knee, and so Jordan gave me a Switch in that game, and I just played that for while I was all hopped up on
The
the
only-
Word tab.
The only opportunity we got to play it was right after surgeries.
Is that
I
when you
picked
played
it up. Yeah, right after I got my vasectomy. I played for like a week straight.
I had a vasectomy in my knee.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, I
What?
can't bend it anymore. Can't get it up.
What does that even mean?
It doesn't have to mean anything.
Dylan, you need to calm down on this
Nope.
controller. It is freaking hot.
Oh, you're about to die too. Oh, nice save.
What the?
What were we saying? Oh yeah, so I played Breath of the Wild, and it was awesome. I was like, man, I think we would have got into this game for sure if we'd had it. I can see why people fell in love with that game.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time was amazing on the N64. I really liked Majora's Mask, also on the N64.
There's a lot of debate about the greatest Zelda game, and Ocarina of Time. Is it Ocarina or Ocarina? Ocarina.
Ocarina, I believe.
Ocarina. Yeah.
You have what's the mask called again?
Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask. You have that tattooed on you
Yeah,
as well,
I
right?
do as well.
Yeah, that's sick.
Nerd.
Nerd.
Cool nerd though.
That's what
Yeah,
Danny.
speaking of nerd, you should pick up your backpack and show people that are watching.
Oh, it's just a giant Pokeball. That's what Danny said as I got out of the car. I was like, "See you later," and she's like, "Bye, nerd."
Well, she knew what she's getting into if she spent more than 5 minutes with you. When she
I think so.
married
Yeah.
you, that you were a nerd.
Easy to tell.
Yeah. That's cool, though. That's cool. Yeah, Zelda. Such a cool game. Love it. I wish I had spent more time with it. And I don't know. I hope to. I guess I'll have to have another knee surgery. That was my 4th. So
Oh,
I'll
next
have to
one
have
I'll play some
another
more.
vasectomy, and then I'll play.
snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. The other one that was on here that I think we should talk about a little bit more was NFL Blitz got a bunch of votes. NFL Blitz. That game was so
great
cool,
game.
so
yeah.
violent.
So violent. Yep. Continue to tackle after the fact. And
Yeah, you like just everybody did that, right? Like the whistle blow, and you just keep beating
tackling.
each other up.
Yeah.
So, Dylan, you were really good at this game. For everybody on the podcast, Dylan was like kicking butt and going around this maze, and he looked like he actually knows how to play it. And I can't even get up one area.
Especially because you don't even need to get to that area.
I want to kill that ugly worm. Anyways,
The
sorry.
villains, like the alien species on this, really do look like the movie Alien. Like they kind of have. And isn't it a parasite, right? There's an issue with the parasite.
The balm will jump you up.
Oh.
So you can go over that. Yeah, the X parasites infected all these things. So as you know, when you kill an enemy, when you destroy an enemy, either a gold or a green glob comes out of him, and that's their X parasite thing, and that's like the gold right there is health. And the green ones are like ammo and stuff.
This looks good, dope. I want to play it a little bit more focused for sure, and maybe from the beginning. So
Yeah,
I get
and to really know it. I mean, this is one of the more dialogue heavy Metroids.
Like storyline.
Storyline.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say dialogue as in like text and stuff. There's a lot.
Okay.
Which we did start this game a little bit into it to avoid a lot of the dialogue, so people watching could kind of enjoy the gameplay a little bit more. Oh well, way to rub it in my face, getting up.
I only did that for that reason. Yep. I'm gonna try to get us some health because we're low.
Watching this game reminds me. We talked a little bit at the start. Mega Man. I love Mega Man too. I think that was another awesome game of the '90s. Mega Man was so good.
Mega Man was sweet. I played tons of Mega Man. I feel like this is a little bit more complex than Mega Man.
Yeah, you have a lot more you can do. It looks like.
Yeah, it seems that
a
way.
lot more like
we may have just
in
sucked.
the end.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I played a decent amount of Mega Man, but it was a Game Boy edition. I think Game Boy Advance, probably 2000s, and it was like a cyber Mega Man. I really liked it. I didn't play a lot besides that.
I don't remember playing that, but
what about right here we have Sonic the Hedgehog. Did you guys play much Sonic?
I played Sonic mainly on Sega.
Same.
The Sega
There was a regular Sega and Sega Genesis. Yeah, Sega Genesis.
Yeah, at our Uncle Troy's house.
You had a Sega?
Yeah. So when our parents went out of town to England for 2 weeks, I stayed over there for like a few days. That's all I did.
Just played Sega?
Yeah. They had like AJ, so he was like just a baby, so I had to be quiet all the time, so I just played constantly. So I played a ton of Sonic when I played that when I was there, but that's really it for Sega for me.
That's like the only game I know on Sega is Sonic.
One of my favorites on Sega is called Vector Man. And you're like this green guy made of orbs. And it's also kind of like Mega Man in the way that he shoots his cannon. Or they shoot their cannon. But yeah, it's pretty fun. But yeah, not a lot of people know about that one.
Yeah.
Vector Man. I was hoping it would come out on the Virtual Console because they have the Virtual Sega on the Switch as well.
So did Nintendo must have like bought out Sega or something then, right?
I don't know if they bought them out or they're just working together.
So when's
really
Sonic gonna show up on Super Smash Bros?
He already is.
What?
Yeah, Sonic's already on the Super Smash Bros.
Oh man, dude,
is he like a
there
hidden
are
character?
so many
Oh man, there
characters
goes
on it
all
now.
my health.
They've added tons of characters.
On like the newest one on Switch or something?
Mm-hmm.
They have like even like the Wii Fit trainers.
They do. They have Sora from Kingdom Hearts on Smash Bros. Now.
Yeah.
It's a huge.
Man, I gotta play it. We gotta do a Smash Bros. Night.
They have the flower from Mario.
Yeah.
So who's your guys? That's another great one. Super Smash Bros. Who's your go-to character on Super Smash Bros. Dylan?
It was always Samus, but it's Link.
That
it's
would
Link
be
now.
Link now.
Link, I'm just better with Link. I'm closer with the close-up combat.
So do you play in the new one? They have like the young Link and the regular, like young Link and then old. Old Link.
They have young Link. They have Toon Link. They have Link.
So which
Link.
one are you?
I go with the regular Link, or Ocarina of Time Link, or Breath of the Wild Link because of the.
That's young Link, right?
No.
Oh.
I go with the adult Link, I guess we'll call it, because of the reach. The reach on adult Link, you can hit the upper levels of the battlefield when you can't with young Link. Young Link's just a little too short.
Oh.
Strategy.
Yeah.
I just push buttons. I'm a button slammer.
You're a button masher.
You're a
Yeah.
cheater. You're a Kirby. Or Jigglypuff. Which one
He's
do you
pretty
use?
good with Kirby.
Yeah, because he can float forever no matter how much damage.
What
you
works, man. Don't hate, man.
have. I guess. Whatever.
I mean,
I played Young
If we're
Link.
talking about the 90s, Super Smash Bros.
Yeah.
I always played Samus, but obviously, if you were just getting your butt kicked, yeah, you'd choose Kirby
Yeah.
because you were sick of freaking falling and always losing, and you could fly for freaking ever. The new one, yeah, Kirby all the time because all of my friends are wicked
Yeah.
good at freaking Super Smash. So
Baker's,
the
like,
only
insane.
chance I have
both the
is
Bakers.
Kirby. That's the only chance
That makes
I
sense.
have. Button smashing or not, like.
I also like to when I'm playing with Baker and people, you know, who are really good. I like to just do random because then I don't feel so bad when I lose because at least I'm not losing as my main. But then you get to play as a ton of other people like Rosalina. Rosalina's way good.
Oh, really?
I've won a few with her, and there's Isabella from
So who's the worst character?
Ness.
Ness.
I was just about to say
Ness.
Ness is the worst character.
Unless you know how to do that jump.
And
Ness
I've
is the
seen
Some
worst.
how do you
videos of people
do that.
doing
Like,
it. It's
I-
mind-boggling.
I've done it
I've
like once or
practiced.
twice. I'm more excited about doing that than winning the game. If you can just like shoot the little thing
whole
on, hit your
focus.
butt back up.
The whole focus. You're just like, is he even in the game? No, man. I'm trying to figure out how to fly with Ness.
my character's young Link, and now that you say that, maybe I should try adult Link because I just liked young Link because I thought he was cool looking. That's the only reason I picked him when I was younger. I was like, oh, he looks the most like I don't know, he looks cool. He's got a sword automatically built into the character. You don't even have to wait for a sword to pop up in the
there was
magic
no s-
boxes or whatever.
There was no strategy for us. It was just, it looked cool.
Looked
It
cool.
was, okay, Kirby, you know.
Dylan, who's your Mario Kart character?
In the newer one, kind of similar to him, like the shy guy.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
also do often you can do Breath of the Wild Link in that, and so I like doing that one. Honestly, if we're racing, I like to use Donkey Kong as well. Donkey, I
Oh,
like
go
the
for a
heavy
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 character.
character and light cart.
What about the 90s game?
Yeah, the
Link.
OG.
No, was Link in that one?
No.
I
I
don't
can't
think
remember.
so.
Oh, it was
No, there's
Yoshi.
8
Sorry.
characters, right?
Yoshi.
There's like-
See, that's why we're best friends.
Yoshi, you
Shy
did
Guy and
Yoshi in the
Yoshi.
OG?
Yep.
Yeah. I did Toad a lot in the OG, and then now I do Princess Peach.
I mean, it's a big difference because, like the new one, any character, any cart, the different tires and stuff can all change apparently how you race. And the
Oh,
old one,
yeah.
it was like, nope, they're all the same.
Well, kind of. The characters were different. You had the lights, the mids, and the heavies, right? You had
Did
that
affect you in the
yeah,
old ones?
yeah,
It did?
Yeah,
Okay.
it did. So you had Peach, Yoshi, and Toad were the lights. Mario and Luigi were the mids.
Apparently, I'm
Then
stuck here.
Donkey Kong, Bowser. I'm missing somebody there. Donkey Kong and Bowser were the heavies. There's one character I'm missing though. I don't know who I'm
Would
missing. There's 8.
Wario be part of the heavies? I think he was.
Oh yeah, he was a heavy, yeah. And he was the
Donkey
other character
Kong,
I was missing.
Bowser, Wario. That
And
that
then the
would be
mids
all
were
of it.
Mario and Luigi, and the lights were Peach, Toad, and Yoshi.
Yeah.
But there are forums online where people like debate what the best setup is for Mario Kart, like what the fastest setup is. I even read through a couple of them a while back, just to see if like Princess Peach was ever a character on there. She was.
I guess I'm lost.
There, give it to me. I can
Yeah,
get you out
get you out of here. I don't know
Are you
what I'm
stuck?
doing.
Come
Do it.
on, dude.
Yeah, I went down here and I can't find a way out.
just-
I can't jump that high.
You just do it.
Throw a bomb. Like you're gonna know, Jordan.
I
You never
know.
even played the game.
I just thought it'd be funny.
Actually, he was playing that whole time. He's the one that's stuck. No.
Yeah.
All right. Did anyone in the chat throw down some names before we?
One sec.
Yeah, I was gonna say try a bomb maybe.
What? Sorry. Yeah, here, hand this over. No, nobody's said anything.
No
so
one added it. No one added their name. I
no
guess.
90s video games that you guys
Well,
want
I mean, 67
throw
people
out?
voted, right? So that's 67 votes.
That's
People
true, and we
for
know who
multiple
voted
ones.
for what, so we'll just call you out.
So yeah, so the winner is GoldenEye, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 for the best videos of the 90s. So let's
Can I see that? That list.
Yeah, sure. Why?
I was just looking through it real quick.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, thanks.
So to end it out, why don't we give everybody, you have to pick your best game of the 90s. You can't pick multiple ones. You got to pick your best game of the 90s. So Dylan, what's your best game of the 90s?
I'm going to have to go with Pokemon Red.
Pokemon Red. Okay. I've never played it. Good choice.
Yeah. Going to have to be my number one.
Did you guys play the Kirby that was in the 90s?
No, I never did. I heard that is a fun game, though.
Yeah?
I heard Kirby 64 and Kirby on the SNES is awesome.
Yeah, I'm surprised I've never played either.
I didn't play a ton of Kirby.
I remember playing a little bit of Turok, but not a ton either.
Turok was fun.
Just thought I'd throw that.
Yeah, Turok's pretty
And
dope.
Twisted Metal. Didn't play any of that either.
Oh, I played Twisted Metal. It's
I
fun.
what was it? I don't even remember.
It's like
It's like adult Mario Kart.
Yeah. It's like they're actually coming out with a live action show.
Do you remember
for
the
it.
big
I don't
van,
remember it at
the
all.
big yellow bus, and they have you like guns on your cars, and you like
on
shoot each other?
PlayStation. It was on
Yeah,
PlayStation.
we
Yeah,
rented it.
PlayStation.
I
before.
did play that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
and
was okay. That was a dope.
there's
game.
the level with the ski resort where you'd like hop on it and it'd take you up in the ski resort. Do you remember
yeah.
that? Yeah.
That was sweet. But my favorite is definitely Super Mario World.
Super Mario World. Good.
Love that game. Love it.
Mine is Mario 64. Best game
Awesome.
of the 90s.
That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I think those are all fair.
I feel like I need to play Pokemon Red now. Like,
yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
bad.
I'm hoping it will
I
come
wish
out virtually, like on the Switch, easy to get to.
That'd be awesome.
that'd be nice.
Well,
And
I
I
wonder
mean,
why it
I want to
hasn't.
play this too because I would love to like. It's cool that this is your favorite game. I mean, me and you, I feel like are so much alike. So it'd be cool to see more
Yeah.
about it and,
And
get
and
better at it.
Absolutely, and then you can play Dread because Dread's a sequel to this one.
Yes, I want to play Dread way bad. That's the one that just came out on the Switch, right? Is there
A couple
two
years
now?
ago. No, just one.
No, are they gonna? Do you think they'll continue?
I hope so.
I hope
As a
so
Metroid
too.
fan.
Yeah, I mean, I love Metroid, but I don't know anything about her, so it sucks.
Well, her parents were killed by Ridley.
Sure.
That's what I read. She's a bounty hunter.
Her parents were killed when some guy ran up and tried to take their wallets right after they got out of a show,
Yeah.
and then it left her homeless.
She had a lot of money though.
No, that's
Batman.
Batman.
Yeah, it's Batman.
Oh.
It's a good game though.
We'll try and get next time we'll try and get Bruce on here. If not, we'll at least try and get Wayne on here of Wayne's World.
We'll get him here.
Yeah.
This is also kind of a good time to end the stream, given we're 100%
where-
stuck. Oh, never mind.
Where did that thing come from? I've been
Whoa.
dropping bombs the whole time. Oh
Yeah.
my! I dropped so many bombs.
We're staying on for another hour.
What a good way!
keep
What a
it
good way to end
going.
it. We didn't get stuck in the.
Yeah. Even better way to end it.
Well, Dylan, we're gonna have you on some more for sure in the future. And
Absolutely.
thanks for being our very first guest.
Absolutely, it was an honor. I'm happy to be here. It was really fun. And look at that, perfect timing. A save room.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And great topic, by the way. Best games in the 90s. Keep everybody listening. Go hop on the poll and let us know. We did have a couple people write in. I didn't have it pulled up. I'll read it next week. But write in and let us know your favorite games, topics, things you want to hit.
Just real quick, I wanted to say it's kind of cool. Dylan and I didn't meet until probably 20...
We were 13,
Er-
14.
what-
2004?
2004.
2003?
So not even through the 90s, but we had very similar tastes in all these 90s games. So I just want to throw that out there. I think it's awesome. Dylan and I are like best friends here, so pretty sweet. I'm
Absolutely.
stoked that you came onto the show and wanted to be a
Yeah.
part of it. So
Yeah.
Happy to be here. This
Thanks,
was awesome.
dude. We'll do some more for sure. I think we definitely
No
need to have you on. And
I can
do
talk
other
a lot
topics
about
and-
nerdy things. So
Yeah, and your room says it all. So
And next week we'll have Dylan's Pokemon collection. And next week we'll have Dylan's Star Wars Lego collection. And the week after we'll have Dylan's Pop collection.
No, not that one.
I
All
think
of the
Dylan,
above.
you already called that you want to be on for the Star Wars ranking episodes, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
And
rank 'em.
The Last of Us.
The Last
we gotta
of Us,
have one for
absolutely.
The Last of
Okay.
Us.
We'll do it. We'll do it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. Write in to Super Davis, DAVIES, bros at gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts and your feelings. Next week's podcast will be on console wars. So we're going to talk about the console wars, do a little bit of a deep dive in that. And I think we'll do another poll for what's your favorite console of all time and maybe discuss that and what consoles rock and where they ranked, how well consoles sold, and all that stuff. So everything consoles next week. And then following that, we're going to have another guest on in a couple weeks. And we have a bunch more topics. Not always video game, but next week will be console wars. So thank you guys. Dylan, thank you again for coming on. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for being our first guest. Oh, and our cool artwork in our room is thanks to Dylan. We have a Mario, a Luigi, and then all the Mario characters up on our wall. And Dylan graciously donated those when he found out we were doing the podcast. So thank you.
Thanks, Dylan. You're awesome.
Thank you guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, those of you on the stream. And thanks for listening. If you're listening on the podcast, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, have a good one.